Good evening and welcome to Work in Progress with me, Jonathan, your host for this unique look at how we in the game get on and paint our models. So we consider this to be the least glamorous side of the hobby, where more people would just enjoy the game, throwing dice and just getting on playing rather than actually painting stuff. So we thought at Blame the Dice we would show you what we're currently working on, giving you an idea of a behind the scenes sort of take on, you know, what I'm currently working on. I think Mike will come back to you with another little video on what he's working on to give you an idea of the future for the show. So without further ado, I will show you what I'm working on, which is A, part of the show, and B, not part of the show, and I'll explain why in a minute. So when I come back, I will show you the models that I'm working on, sort of, if that makes sense. I'll return in a minute. Thank you. So this is my workstation. As you can see, I work from the kitchen table. It is not glamorous. I also have rules, and those rules are bestowed upon me by the High Lords of Terror, or known by her other name, my wife. So yeah, this is my workstation. I currently utilise a wet palette for most of my paint work, usual pot of water, my paints, which predominantly are a combination of GW paints, and we've got some washes from GW and Army Painter. I do have some Villaggio Model Air paints that I do use, which I'm starting to get into, which I find are really good for keeping smooth sort of work and paint on certain models. So I've started to use that more. To be fair, I've sort of got into the painting side of things a lot more in 8th edition than I have done in recent versions, or recent editions, and I must admit I do feel like I think the paint has gotten better as the years have gone on, and I'm really eager to see how the new contrast paints work. So as soon as I get my hands on some of those, I will do some I'll do another video on what I think about the contrast paint work. So without further ado, let me show you what I'm currently working on my desk. So like I said in the sort of intro, there are two sides of the work that I do, because I do work full time. So as much as I would love modelling to be a full-time hobby, I do actually work full-time, so I have very limited time to do things. However, what I do is I do sort of moonlight as a commission painter. So currently I'm working on a couple of projects. One of those is the rather nice collection. I don't know whether you can see those, whether they're coming up well. We've got some Dark Eldar. Now I did a commission job for a friend of mine, Mikey O. I'm doing a Dark Eldar. Whoa, dear Lord. Dark Eldar commission, and he wanted, I don't know whether that's coming up well. So he wanted it was like a fine cast homunculus, and he wanted the cloak to be, I don't know whether that's coming out well on camera, but it was like a leather rather than skin tone. So, and then he wanted the spine to be like a metallic boned spine. Now I've got to work a bit more on the flesh, because I think he's turned out a bit too tantastic, as Mike calls him. So I'm going to work on getting his tan down. I've also got 3 Talos paint engines which have completed, and this is the next stage of the project. So I'm going to be working on the rest of these models here, and those, whether you can see those, is not really coming out. Let me pull one out. The sort of chippers. Now the undercoated and ready to go, and I'm going to be using predominantly black as the colour scheme with some blue sort of highlights on the edges to give it the appearance of a unearthly sort of bluish tone to the models. So I'm going to work on those, and Mikey O is sort of very patient with me. I did say this to him, that I am ridiculously so when it comes to painting things, but they understand. So the other commission work that I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit for Mike. He wanted some models, and he will on occasion sort of get me to do some stuff that he needs me to do. And then the last thing, I've got another guy that I'm sort of doing two things for. So I'm doing these Deathwatch. Now this is a small element of about 13, 14 models that he wants me to do, and these two Vendreads. So this is part of a larger force that I'm currently doing for him. So I do enjoy edge highlighting to death. So I'm currently working on getting these models finished up and getting them painted. I am sort of a bit on schedule for them, maybe a little bit behind, but it shouldn't take me too long to complete these. I do like edge highlighting and painted chip work, and making things look a bit more battle worn than, say, straight out of the Forge world. So yeah, so I've got these guys. So let's pull out another guy so you can have a look at that. So yeah, we're getting those done. Those shouldn't take too long. And the other side of things is these Deathwing Knights. So these guys are undercoated with a Zandri dust. I've based them, which is like my standard sort of base, which is I use sharp sand, which you can pick up from like B&Q. I don't use model sand because one, it's expensive, and two, sharp sand, you can pick it up for like £2 for like a bag of the stuff. There is a bit of effort to it, so with the sharp sand you've got to kind of let it dry out, so because it sort of does arrive a little bit wet. So if you've got like a really hot sunny day coming up, like a bit of a heat wave, put some in a box, like a shallow box, and leave it there all day. As long as it doesn't rain, you've got yourself basing material. Now I've got some stored away. I've sort of did it since last summer, and this stuff will just last you forever, pretty much. I'm not even begin to dint the sharp sand that I've got. Like I say, it cost me £2, and I've got bucket loads of the stuff, absolute bucket loads of stuff. So a John top tip there, get a sharp sand, B&Q, £2, Wicks, or anywhere, sharp sand is the one that you're after. So yeah, so I've got the Deathwatch, the Deathwing Knights. I've also got a couple of projects, sort of side projects that I'm doing, but I'm not sure what these are for, because I just wanted to get the models. So I don't know whether he's coming out, but that is Marnius Calgar, or Primanius Calgar, as he is known now in his Primaris form. Undercoated black and ready to paint in all his Ultramarines glory. So, and like I say, this guy is sort of, I'm doing for me rather than for anyone in particular. So I'll be working on him, and then this guy, I've Deathwatched him. He's not part of the commission for the guy that I'm doing for the Deathwatch. However, I think I might paint him up and see whether he wants it, because I did get the model through Conquest. I don't know if you probably know about Conquest, the magazine subscription through GW and Hachette. Now, for about $7.99 you get a weekly magazine supplement which contains models and or paint, and to be fair, they are an absolute bargain when you consider sort of some of the stuff that you get. Now this guy, I think, comes from GW for about £20 odd, I think it is, for an apothecary, Primaris apothecary. So for £8, you're absolutely making a killing. So if you haven't already subscribed to Conquest, I would suggest doing that to get a large collection of Death Guard and Ultramarine / Primaris models. I think there is a repulsor at some point coming out, and you do get like a large quantities of paint. Honestly, it's definitely worth it. So let's go on to some of the stuff that I'm actually doing for the channel. Now, you've probably already seen this guy from video 1, which was the Black Legion. So I will be painting up my Black Legion force. So he's undercoated, he's ready to go. He's not really progressed since that video, so I need to get, you know, the paintwork sort of updated, get him a bit more painted, and get the rest of his brethren from the Black Legion painted up and ready to go. And next to him, this is something that Micah sort of suggested that we get. So different varieties of models. So I've just brought out several sort of character models and Terminators from the Death Guard. I've got more characters, as we mentioned in one of the previous videos, and I'll be working on these, painting on these guys and getting the rest of the elite sorted, so that we can have like a variety of Death Guard, because I do have a large Death Guard contingent, and I'm actually not sure how many points I've actually got in terms of Death Guard, because I do actually have sort of down here in the little right next to me project box, I don't know whether you can make him out there, the man, the legend himself, Mortarion. He is there ready to go. He's undercoated, and I'm going to get him sorted. So at some point, Mortarion will be painted in all his glory on the channel. So yeah, other things I've got. Mike's, I don't know how he's managed to do this, but he's got like a load of this scatter terrain. So I don't know whether that's coming up on here. So normally it's just like a bit of plastic, and it's like, you know, like grey plastic sort of craters. And he had it painted up, and he's like, can you do something with it? It doesn't look that great. So I said to him, oh, just throw some sand on it and leave these stone bits looking stone. Spray it black, and then just use a combination of sort of ash and grey on the rock with some highlights, and then on the sand use Rhinox hide, like pretty much standard to what I use all my base materials on. And he's like, oh yeah, that sounds great, can you do it for me? I'm like, yeah, I can do it on this one. So I've done it. Well, I just need to paint it, but he's actually impressed with the way it looks so far, that he has actually got a box of the stuff ready to go. So at some point I'm going to have to churn out like about 20 of them. So on the channel you may find like a blasted landscape coming up. And then the last thing, I got these off Mike the other day, and it's to go with the Black Legion. I'm trying to do this one-handed, not ideal. So these guys here, did I just bash that? No, okay. So these guys here, as you can see, it is the Thousand Suns. So they're based with a little bit of black detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on with Mike's work and having these guys in black as sort of Black Legion Thousand Suns, because they can be taken as an elite choice, and I think they will provide good foil for the Black Legion, as you know, they have invul saves and their bolters are -2 AP, so they're just good at like knocking down sort of elite infantry and things like that. So I'll be working on those and getting those ready for the channel and the Black Legion, because Abaddon really didn't make a show of himself, and he needs a win under his belt. He does. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board on that. I do need to get some Havocs. I said that on the episode. I need to get some more Obliterators, so I will be working on getting those. Probably from Goblin, because I pretty much get most of my stuff from Goblin. On occasions when I need something quick and I can't get down to Goblin, because Goblin's in Northwich and I'm in Warrington, and I'm in town, then I may actually go to the GW store and see Josh at Warrington and grab some stuff. But yeah, so this is it. This is me. This is what I'm working on. This is my painting desk. Now in my project box, I've got some more Death Watch in there, but also you see there's a lot of paint. There's some tools. I have a combination of my brushes consist of Rosemary and Co, which are really good cheap alternatives to Winsor & Newton. So if you do like quality brushes and you don't want to spend out the £10 plus on Winsor & Newton, I suggest checking out Rosemary & Co. I have size 2, 1, 0, 02 and 03 brushes from them, and it's fantastic. Some army painter brushes and some GW brushes that I've been getting from Conquest. And to be fair, the GW ones are surprisingly actually alright. I was reluctant to get them because experience in the past said that GW brushes were absolutely naff, but they've actually made an effort. In order to protect and preserve, I have some Masters brush soap in the corner. I can't recommend that stuff enough. There are plenty of videos online on how to use Masters brush soap. If you don't know what it is, it cleans your brushes. It's just a soap that you basically clean the brushes with and then use a little bit of it to preserve the point of your brushes to help you maintain the point to prolong your brush life. 5-6 quid from Amazon. If I can throw the link in there, then I will do. But honestly, it's like life-saving stuff. Usual stuff, tools in there. I have some Winsor & Newton matte gloss, matte varnish for protecting the models and also taking the shine off it. Some new stuff that I got recently was in the little green top is Tamiya extra thin plastic cement. Now this stuff comes a little brush applicator, and it's like as the title sort of says, it is extra thin, so you put it on, and if you leave it long enough it will evaporate. It's that quick. However, if you put it on and then start putting stuff together, it gives you enough time to sort of work the plastic so that it holds the bond, but it also doesn't throw on too much like the GW one or the other brands that do, where they have that almost needle applicator where it can get blocked. This stuff is absolutely awesome. So if you haven't already got some, then I would suggest getting some. And then I've got some other models that I'm working on in those projects there. So I have got a lot on my plate. And like I say, I work full time, so I generally late at night painting. So yeah, so I'll finish that and I'll come back in a second with the outro. So see you in a minute. So there we go, a little taster of things that I'm currently working on behind the scenes at Blame The Dice Wargaming. So hopefully that's given you a bit of insight into what's going on, what we have for the future at the moment, sort of short term, medium term. I'm not gonna give away the game on some of the secret projects that I've got. You'll have to keep watching in order to find out what those are. And as we continue to try and grow Blame The Dice, hopefully, we'll be able to churn out more. I know we focus a lot on Warhammer 40,000, but I do want to play other game systems. We do Kill Team. We want to get into Necromunda, into Blood Bowl, into AOS. But outside of Citadel and GW, we want to look at Malifaux, X-Wing, Armada. I know Mike's got an Armada army which looks amazing, a lovely Imperial army. So we'll try and get some of those on the channel, and we'll look at other gaming systems that are coming out. But also we might look at maybe doing board games as well, so watch this space for that. We might actually start doing something where we have like board games that take like an hour, so you can do them in your dinner with a work colleague or a friend. So a nice short video about what I'm doing, and like I say, Mike will probably give you one on what he's doing, and it kind of gives you a picture of what we're currently working on together as a team. So with that, I shall bid you adieu, and I shall see you next time on Blame the Dice. I've been John, thank you very much, and see you later. Bye bye.